At the crossroads of worlds stands an ancient land forged by ice and wind, a place where life itself is a constant struggle. This is Dagestan. They call it the land where giants fight. But in this unforgiving realm, greatness takes many forms. Brute force or agility that defies the abyss does not always prevail. Sometimes, power is the intelligence of the pack, the stealth of a shadow, or the sovereignty of a gaze that judges everything from the sky. Other times, it hides in the alchemy that transforms death into life, or in the power concentrated in a single drop. Let's discover the true protagonists of this land and the countless faces of their struggle. This is their story. This is Dagestan. You have just stepped into an ancestral world. To accompany us on this complete exploration of the lands of Dagestan and not miss any of its stories, we invite you to subscribe and activate notifications. Your journey with us is just beginning. In the dizzying heights of Dagestan, where the peaks pierce the sky and the wind carves the rock into sharp edges, resides the undisputed ruler of this vertical kingdom. This is the domain of the Taur of the eastern Caucasus, a creature forged in the heart of stone and ice. It is not an animal that simply lives in the mountains. It is a manifestation of the mountain itself, a spirit of the cliffs whose existence is a constant act of defiance against gravity. Its body is a masterpiece of adaptation to an impossible world. Compact, muscular, and with a low center of gravity, it is designed for balance on the most precarious ledges. Its hooves are not mere appendages, but tools of geological precision. A hard, flint-like outer edge allows it to anchor itself in the tiniest cracks in the rock, while a soft, adhesive inner pad molds to the surface, providing traction that defies all logic. It is this evolutionary engineering that allows it to move with deliberate grace across near-vertical walls, a silent ballet where a single mistake would mean a deadly fall. But it is with the arrival of winter's icy breath, when the alpine world surrenders to silence, that the true drama of Dagestan unfolds. The males, muscular giants crowned with formidable horns, thick, rough keratin scimitars that curve backward in a majestic arc, engage in ritual combat of shocking violence. The impact, a dull thud that echoes through the valleys, is the language of dominance. A titanic clash to secure the right to offspring. It is not a fight for territory, but for the future. A brutal test where only the strength and endurance of the fittest will ensure that their genes are passed on to the next generation. Outside of the brutal mating season, life is a constant negotiation with hunger. The Taur is a selective grazer, moving among the alpine meadows in summer, always alert, always close to the safety of the cliffs. Its agility allows it to reach pockets of vegetation inaccessible to any other herbivore, sustenance earned on the edge of the abyss. Females and young live in separate groups, a serene matriarchy that contrasts with the fierce anarchy of the males. When the time comes to give birth, the female retreats into complete solitude. She seeks out the most inaccessible of ledges, a predator-proof sanctuary for the miracle of birth. There, suspended between heaven and earth, she brings her only kid into the world. Within hours of birth, the kid stands up, its instincts already attuned to the dangers of its aerial home. It is a fragile promise of continuity, a living testimony that in the lands where giants struggle, life, though precarious, always finds a way to cling to the rock. If the Taur is the spirit anchored to the rock, there is another force in Dagestan, a wandering intelligence, a specter that flows through the valleys and shadowy forests that cling to the mountain slopes. It is the Eurasian wolf, the supreme predator of this domain, whose existence is dictated not by defense, but by pursuit. The wolf is not defined by its individual being, but by its collective, the pack. It is not a simple grouping, it is a superorganism, a complex family united by blood ties and an unbreakable hierarchy, all orchestrated by an alpha pair, the heart and brain of the operation. They move as a single entity across a vast territory, an empire of smells and sounds imperceptible to others. Their world is a tapestry of olfactory information, each breeze bringing news of prey, rivals, or danger. Their drama is not the static clash of combat, but the lethal fluidity of pursuit. Hunting is their art, a symphony of strategy and endurance. Guided by an instinct perfected over millennia, they test Tour's herds, not with a blind attack, but with a series of calculated feints, a silent conversation of glances and postures to identify weakness, hesitation, the prey that fate has marked. Once the target is selected, the real test begins. It is not a sprint, but a marathon of attrition. The pack works in lethal choreography, taking turns, cutting off escape routes, channeling their prey toward inevitable exhaustion, and as night falls, when the moon bathes the peaks of Dagestan in silver, they raise their voices to the darkness. The howl. It is not a cry of loneliness, but a hymn of unity, an affirmation of their existence. It is a sound map that declares their presence, defines the boundaries of their empire, and reconnects the invisible bonds that unite each member of the pack, wherever they may be. But at the heart of this formidable predator lies a core of tenderness. In a hidden den, dug far from prying eyes, the next generation is raised not only by the mother, but by the entire pack. The hunters return to regurgitate food for the pups, who are born blind and helpless, small promises of an ancient lineage. They are the future of the pack, the guarantee that the hunting shadow will continue to roam these mountains. The wolf is not a force of cruelty, but of balance. It is the chisel that shapes the resilience of its prey, the essential regulator that maintains the vital pulse of this wild ecosystem, ensuring the health of the very giant it pursues in the heights. Beyond the strength of the Tour and the collective shadow of the wolf, there is a third power in Dagestan. A solitary, silent, and almost mythical power that manifests itself not as a presence, but as an absence. It is the Persian leopard, the best-kept secret of these peaks. A ghost whose kingdom is stealth and whose survival depends on the art of not being seen. If the wolf is the strategist of open spaces, the leopard is the master of broken corners, ravines and steep ledges. Its coat is not simply fur, it is a cloak of invisibility, a mosaic of dark rosettes on a pale background that dissolves it into the tapestry of rock, dry grass and undergrowth. It moves with an economy of movement that is almost liquid, each step deliberate and soundless, flowing over the terrain rather than walking on it. It is a specter of pure muscle, the embodiment of predatory patience. Its drama is that of waiting, a tension that can last for hours. Its hunt is not a marathon of attrition, but the sublime art of ambush. It can remain motionless for half a day, watching its prey from a hidden ledge, muscles taut as steel cables, waiting for the perfect moment of distraction. And then, the eruption. An explosion of concentrated power, a sprint of just a few seconds that is both silent and devastatingly violent. Its strength is legendary, capable of hoisting prey twice its own weight up rock walls or tree trunks, securing its spoils from other predators and scavengers. It lives a life of deep isolation. Unlike the social howling of the wolf, The leopard communicates in a secret language. Its territory is a sacred sanctuary, marked not with sounds, but with the subtle daily diary of scratches on trees and scent marks. A chemical map that tells the story of an invisible sovereign. Encounters with others of its kind are rare and tense events, reserved almost exclusively for the brief and dangerous ritual of mating. The female alone bears the weight of the future. In an impenetrable den, she gives birth to her cubs, vulnerable specks of life in a relentless world. For 2 years, she must be both provider and protector, teaching them the art of not being seen, the science of silent death. Each cub that reaches maturity is not only a personal victory, but a beacon of hope for a species clinging to existence on the margins of the world. It is the untamed soul of Dagestan, living proof that nature's deepest and most beautiful secrets are reserved for those who have the patience to observe the silence. You have witnessed 3 forms of power: the resilience of the tour, the strategy of the pack, and the stealth of the ghost. Each one a masterpiece of survival. Which of these stories has impacted you the most so far? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation. In the dense beech and oak forests that clothe the foothills of the Dagestan Mountains, a different power walks. It possesses neither the defiant agility of the tour, nor the collective intelligence of the wolf, nor the ghostly stealth of the leopard. It is the primal force, the manifestation of the earth itself in the form of muscle and will, the Eurasian brown bear. The bear's life is not governed by the tactics of hunting or evasion, but by a single, powerful imperative: hunger. It is an omnivorous monarch, a supreme opportunist, whose existence is a perpetual pilgrimage dictated by the seasons. In spring, its powerful nose guides it to the first tender shoots and nutritious roots, which it unearths with its formidable claws. These are not the retractable daggers of an assassin, but the tools of a tireless digger, capable of turning over rocks and smashing rotten logs in search of protein-rich larvae. Summer turns it into a methodical gatherer, patiently scouring clearings for the sweet reward of wild berries. His dominance is not won through strategy, but imposed by his mere presence. A pack of wolves, the architects of team hunting, will yield their prey to the arrival of a large male. There is no negotiation, no prolonged combat. Only the instinctive recognition of a superior power, a mass of potential fury that is best not to challenge. The bear is a gravitational force in the ecosystem. Where he moves, others move aside. But its deepest drama is a battle against time and metabolism. Autumn triggers a frantic need in it, hyperphagia, an urge to consume thousands of calories a day to build up the fat reserves that will allow it to survive the winter. It is a desperate race against the first snowfall, which will force it into an act of temporary surrender. Hibernation. In a carefully prepared den, the outside world fades away. Her heart slows to a murmur, her body cools, and she enters a deep sleep that is almost a form of death. It is in this silent darkness that the most vulnerable miracle occurs: the birth of tiny, blind and helpless cubs who curl up against the warmth of their sleeping mother. The mother bear emerges in spring, thin and weakened, but with unmatched protective ferocity. On her shoulders rests the immense task of teaching her cubs the ancient knowledge of survival, the map of every berry-rich hillside, the technique for fishing in streams, and above all, how to navigate a world full of dangers, including other bears. The bear is the anchor of Dagestan's ecosystem, a symbol of untamed strength. It is not the most cunning hunter or the most agile prey, but it is the guardian of the forests, a giant whose appetite shapes the landscape and reminds all other creatures of the existence of an ancient and elemental power. We have traveled through the realms of rock, forest, and shadow, but above them all, silent and vast, stretches a fifth domain, the infinite sky of Dagestan. And this realm has a single, absolute ruler, a predator whose perspective encompasses everything: the golden eagle. For the eagle, the world is not a series of trails and obstacles, but a living, detailed map unfolding thousands of feet below. Its vision is a form of omniscience, an almost inconceivable acuity that transforms the landscape into a hunting board. It can distinguish the trembling of a rabbit in the grass or the hesitation of a young tour on a ledge miles away. It is the watchful eye of the mountains, a sentinel to whom nothing escapes. For hours, it can be a speck suspended in the blue, a being of pure patience riding the updrafts with masterful energy efficiency, barely beating its broad wings. There is no wasted movement, no unnecessary effort. It is an observer that waits, analyzes, calculates. And then, the decision. The wings fold partially. The graceful silhouette transforms into that of a living missile. And the fall begins. Its attack is a bolt of lightning falling from a clear sky, a gravitational dive that can exceed 200 kilometers per hour. The moment of impact is the culmination of this perfect display of aerial power. Its weapons are not its beak, but its talons. A set of bone and keratin hooks capable of exerting crushing pressure. They are not designed primarily to tear, but to crush and immobilize, to impart a force of concussion that extinguishes life in an instant. A tour kid, momentarily separated from its mother, can disappear from the world in the blink of an eye. Their nest, the eyrie, is not a temporary home, but a dynastic fortress. Built on the most inaccessible face of a cliff, it is a throne woven from branches, grass, and loyalty, as golden eagles often mate for life. Each year, the pair returns, adding new material to the structure which can weigh more than a ton. Here, high above, protected from any terrestrial predator, their chicks will take their first and most terrifying leap, the leap into their kingdom. The golden eagle is the final chapter and the observer of all the stories we have told. From its perspective, the drama of the tour on the rock, the strategy of the wolf in the valley, the secret of the leopard in the crevice, and the strength of the bear in the forest are all threads in the great tapestry of Dagestan. It is the watchful eye, the spirit of the sky, and the supreme symbol of the wild and untamed freedom that defines this land where giants struggle. When the hunt is over, when the predators have had their fill and the lesser scavenger's feast is done, the story of life and death in Dagestan seems to have come to an end. All that remains on the landscape is a skeleton bleached by the sun, a silent testament to the drama that took place. But there is one final act, performed by a specialist who seeks neither flesh, nor skin, nor viscera. He seeks the very essence of structure, bone. This is the domain of the bearded vulture. Gliding on the same thermal currents as the golden eagle, this aerial giant is no typical vulture. Its feathered head, majestic bearing, and fierce gaze make it more like a hawk of titanic proportions. It is an alchemist of the sky. Its target is the framework that all others despise, and its body is a marvel of adaptation to process the impossible. Its digestive system possesses extremely powerful acids capable of dissolving solid bone to extract the nutritious marrow inside. But for bones too large to swallow, the femur of a tur, the pelvis of a wolf, the bearded vulture performs the incredible ritual that gives it its name. Securing the bone in its talons, it soars in ascending circles, gaining height with each beat of its enormous wings, until the ground is a distant map. Below, there is not just any place, but a specific rock platform, its personal ossuary. A natural anvil sharpened and tested by countless impacts. Then, it drops it. For a moment, the bone is a projectile in free fall, whistling against the mountain wind. The sound, a sharp, dry crack that reverberates in the silence of the canyon, is the percussion of this unique banquet. The bird then descends with surprising agility to claim the fragments, swallowing them greedily. It is an act of intelligence, memory and physics, a tradition passed down through generations. Its appearance is as unique as its diet. Its naturally white body plumage is often stained a deep rust color by deliberate baths in iron-rich mud, a natural cosmetic that gives it the color of earth and dried blood. Its eye, surrounded by a vibrant red scleral ring that brightens with excitement, is a window into a primal spirit, accentuated by the beard of black bristles hanging from its beak. The bearded vulture is the closure of the cycle. It is the grave digger and recycler of the high peaks. It is not an omen of death, but the agent of total renewal, ensuring that not even the skeleton is wasted and that calcium and minerals are returned to the earth. In a world of hunters and prey, it represents the fundamental truth that within the very structure of death lies the sustenance for a new and majestic form of life. Dagestan's complex ecosystem reveals how every creature, from the predator to the ultimate recycler, is an essential piece. If you found this view of the cycle of life fascinating, consider sharing this documentary so that others can discover it too. Your support allows us to continue telling these stories. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We have contemplated the giants that walk and the rulers that fly. But in Dagestan, the drama of survival doesn't only play out on a colossal scale. You have to look down, kneel before the world that stirs beneath your feet, in a realm of grass, earth, and stone. Here, coiled in the warmth of a generous sun, lies one of the steppe's best kept and most powerful secrets, the steppe viper. Its existence is an intimate dance with the sun. As a cold-blooded creature, the sun is its furnace, its engine, the external energy that gives it the power to move and hunt. Its day is a cycle of thermoregulation. It emerges in the morning to absorb the first rays, a slow and deliberate being, until the heat runs through its body and transforms it into a hunter of surprising speed. She is a master of stealth, a living ambush. Her skin, a tapestry of zigzag geometric patterns, is not an adornment, but an edict of invisibility. It dissolves her against the dry earth and vegetation, transforming her from a creature into an indistinguishable part of the landscape. Her hunt is a meditation in stillness, sometimes for hours. Her forked tongue flickers, tasting the air, reading the chemical stories of a passing mouse or careless lizard. And then, the moment. It is not a chase, but an explosion. A flash of scales, faster than the blink of an eye. The bite is an act of ballistic precision. But the real weapon is not the fangs, but the essence they inject. A complex hemotoxic venom, a biochemical cocktail perfected by millions of years of evolution, designed not only to kill, but to initiate digestion from the inside out. After the attack, the viper often retreats, waiting patiently for its invisible weapon to do its work, tracking its dying prey with an infallible sense of smell. The steppe viper is a reminder that in the land of giants, power comes in all scales. It is a lethal gem, proof that strength is not always measured in size or muscle, but sometimes in the potency concentrated in a single drop. It forces large beasts to watch their step, weaving an invisible web of respect across the Dagestan soil and proving that even the smallest of inhabitants play a formidable role in this relentless drama of survival. The sun retreats from the peaks, and a temporary stillness descends on the valleys of Dagestan. We have witnessed its dramas, life and death, written in rock and snow. We came to this land seeking giants, hoping to find power on a colossal scale. And we found it. But we discovered that here, the true giant is not a single creature, but the indomitable spirit of survival itself. It is a giant with many faces, the strength that imposes itself, the agility that evades, the patience that ambushes, the intelligence that cooperates, the chemistry that recycles. Each being is a thread in a tapestry, woven by necessity, where the struggle of one shapes the existence of all others. The mountains will remain, indifferent and eternal. And on their slopes, the struggle will continue. Because in this land, struggle is not an interruption of life. Struggle is life. This is its law. This is Dagestan,